Ever stop to think where your rights actually come from? We're about to dive into the epic story of human rights, a journey from a simple, powerful idea all the way to a global legal system built to protect every single one of us.
So let me start by asking you this. Think about your most basic rights. Freedom of speech, a fair trial. Are those just gifts from the government? Something they can give you and maybe just as easily take away?
The answer to that is a huge, resounding no. The entire point, the core idea of human rights, is that they're yours simply because you're human. They are inherent, they're not granted by anyone, and they can't be taken away. They belong to everyone, everywhere, period.
Okay, so let's break that down. When we say human rights, what are we really talking about? Well, at its heart, it's about the basic, fundamental things we all need to live a life with dignity.
You know, I think this quote from Justice J.S. Verma just nails it. This isn't just dry legal stuff. It's about what makes life meaningful. Dignity isn't just another right on a list. It's the source code, the foundation that all other rights are built on. So, how in the world did this idea become a reality? Well, this story doesn't start in the 20th century. Nope. We've got to go way, way back to when the very first foundation stones were being laid in ancient times.
And just look at what a long, slow journey it's been. All the way back in 539 BC, you've got the Cyrus Cylinder, often called the world's first charter of human rights. It freed slaves and pushed for racial equality. Then, fast forward almost 2,000 years to 1215, and the Magna Carta introduces this radical idea: nobody, not even the king, is above the law.
Okay, now the next huge leap forward happens during the Enlightenment. This is where things really start to heat up. All these revolutionary ideas about natural rights, they go from being philosophical concepts to being hammered into the legal bedrock of brand new nations. And then boom, 1776, the American Revolution takes those philosophical ideas and makes them the founding principles of a country. Suddenly, these unalienable rights aren't just something to debate in a salon, they're the very reason a new nation exists. And just over a decade later, that fire spreads. The French Revolution echoes the same sentiment with its own powerful declaration. That call for liberty, equality, fraternity. It wasn't just a catchy phrase. It was a radical claim that these rights belong to you from the moment you're born. But here's the catch. For all this progress, these rights were still stuck inside national borders. Before 1945, there was this grim reality. Whatever a government did to its own people, well, that was its own business. But the absolute horror of World War II was about to change everything. After the war, the world looked at the devastation and collectively said, never again. People realized some actions are so monstrous they can't be hidden behind a border. A global demand rose up for a universal standard, a common rule book to protect human dignity everywhere.
And that demand gave us this number: 30. In 1948, the world adopted the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. It lays out 30 fundamental articles, 30 basic rights and freedoms that belong to every single one of us. It's been called the Magna Carta for all of humanity. And the very first article sets the tone for the entire thing. This one powerful sentence became the cornerstone, the absolute bedrock of the whole global human rights system we have today. But let's be real. A declaration, no matter how inspiring, is just a statement. It's not actually binding law. So the next absolutely crucial step was figuring out how to turn this beautiful vision into something with real teeth, enforceable international law. And this is basically how they did it. Think of it in 3 steps. Step 1, the UDHR provides the vision, the master blueprint. Step 2, they create legally binding treaties, these covenants that countries can sign, turning the vision into law. And step 3, they create watchdog committees to actually monitor countries and make sure they're holding up their end of the bargain. Now, what's really cool is that as this system grew, our understanding of rights grew too. You can think of it in 3 generations. First generation, or blue rights, are the classics: your right to vote, to free speech, basically freedom from the government interfering. Second generation red rights are about equality, the right to have the basics for a good life, like a job, education, and healthcare. And the newest third generation green rights are about our collective future, things like the right to a clean environment. And that is so important to understand. This isn't some dusty old document locked away in a vault.
The human rights system is a living, breathing thing, constantly evolving to meet the new challenges of our world.
So who keeps it alive? Who makes sure it adapts? Well, a huge part of that job falls to the courts. Judges and legal experts are like the guardians of these rights, interpreting them to tackle complex modern problems the original writers could never have imagined. Let's look at a few amazing examples of how this works. When a constitution talks about a right to life, does that just mean you have the right not to be killed? India's Supreme Court said, no, it means the right to live with human dignity. Can you deny rights to transgender people? Again, the court said no and recognized the third gender. You see, these decisions don't create new rights out of thin air. They find deeper, more profound meaning in the rights we already have.
So from ancient scrolls to modern courtrooms, we have painstakingly built this incredible global system to protect our dignity. But here's the final thought. This system was built to solve the problems of the past. As we look ahead to the challenges of the future, from artificial intelligence to climate change, the biggest question is, how will this living system adapt to protect us now?